In a quiet provincial town, within the walls of a high school, unfolds a story destined to change the lives of those involved forever. Alessandra, a 39-year-old Italian literature teacher, is known for her dedication and passion for teaching. However, behind her apparent professionalism, she hides a dark secret. Among her students is Luca, a brilliant and sensitive 17-year-old boy passionate about literature. Alessandra immediately recognizes his talent and, under the pretext of helping him develop his skills, begins to spend more and more time with him. What starts as a professional and innocent relationship quickly turns into something much deeper and forbidden. Alessandra falls in love with Luca, and despite being aware of the consequences, she cannot resist her feelings. Luca, fascinated by Alessandra's maturity and wisdom, reciprocates her love with the same intensity. Their secret and dangerous relationship becomes increasingly intense until Alessandra discovers she is pregnant. The weight of the secret becomes unbearable, and the couple starts making mistakes that draw the attention of Alessandra's colleagues and Luca's parents. Social workers are called to investigate and uncover the shocking truth. The news spreads rapidly in the town, causing scandal and outrage. Alessandra is immediately dismissed and accused of child abuse. Luca is separated from his family and placed in a protected center, while Alessandra, pregnant and desperate, faces a judicial process that condemns her to several years in prison. Her career and life are destroyed, and her forbidden love for Luca becomes a symbol of tragic failure. On the day of the sentence, Alessandra receives a letter from Luca. In the letter, Luca confesses his pain and confusion but also his eternal love for her. He promises to take care of their daughter and wait, hoping that one day they can rebuild what was lost. But fate has one final cruel blow in store. The night before being transferred to prison, Alessandra goes into premature labor. In the hospital, severe complications put her and her baby's lives at risk. Despite the doctor's efforts, Alessandra dies during childbirth, leaving Luca alone with a newborn to raise and a broken love that will mark him forever. Luca's life changes radically. Now of legal age, he decides to care for his child alone, carrying the painful memory of Alessandra. The town does not easily forget the scandal, and Luca struggles daily with the weight of the past and the judgment of others. One day, while walking with his child, Luca finds an old poetry notebook that Alessandra had given him. Among those pages, yellowed by time, he finds their love and the strength to move forward. Although tragedy has marked his life, Luca finds a way to transform the pain into something positive, dedicating his existence to raising his child with love and teaching the value of literature, just as Alessandra would have wanted. But the scars of that tragic love story remain indelible, a warning to all those who seek to defy conventions and fate. The memory of Alessandra lives on through the words and teachings Luca passes on to his child, an eternal bond that even death cannot completely break. Alessandra, wrapped in the mystery of her secret, continued going to school every day, hiding behind a smile the inner torment that consumed her. Her colleagues noticed her dedication but could not imagine the intensity of her emotions for Luca. He, in turn, was drawn to the way Alessandra made him feel capable of extraordinary things. His passion for literature became the thread of an increasingly profound relationship. One afternoon, after a particularly intense lesson, Alessandra invited Luca to her house to discuss a writing project. Sitting in the living room surrounded by books and artworks, the tension between them became palpable. In a moment of vulnerability, they confessed their feelings and gave in to a kiss that marked the beginning of a clandestine relationship. Each encounter was a mix of joy and fear, knowing their story could be discovered at any moment. When Alessandra discovered she was pregnant, terror seized her. However, she talked to Luca, and together they decided to keep the secret and face the consequences. Their bond seemed unbreakable, but reality began to impose itself. The suspicious glances of her colleagues and comments from Luca's parents started to undermine their tranquility. One day, Alessandra received a call from the school. Social workers had been alerted, and a surprise visit exposed their situation. The news exploded like a bomb in the town. Alessandra was arrested, and Luca, torn from his family environment, was placed in a protected center. The trial was a calvary for both. Alessandra had to face charges of child abuse while Luca tried in vain to defend their love. Alessandra's conviction to several years in prison marked the end of a dream and the beginning of a nightmare. The day before her transfer to prison, Alessandra, now about to give birth, was rushed to the hospital. Despite the doctor's efforts, she did not survive. Luca, informed of the tragedy, was devastated. Now of legal age, he faced the responsibility of raising a child alone, burdened by the memory of Alessandra. Luca's life became a constant struggle. The community did not easily forget, and he had to deal with constant judgment. However, finding Alessandra's poetry notebook by chance gave him the strength to carry on. Those pages were a tangible link to their love and a way to keep Alessandra's memory alive. Luca decided to dedicate his life to raising his child with love and instilling in him the passion for literature as Alessandra would have wanted. The scars of the past remained, but Luca managed to transform the pain into a positive force. The memory of Alessandra lived on through the words and teachings Luca passed on to his child. Although the tragedy had deeply affected their lives, Luca found a way to honor Alessandra's legacy by dedicating himself to raising their child and teaching the value of literature. Despite the weight of the past and indelible scars, Luca gave his existence a positive meaning, creating a new generation that continued Alessandra's memory and love. Their story, marked by passion and tragedy, remained a warning to all who tried to defy conventions and fate. In the tranquil town of San Vito, where the days flowed like a gentle river, Alessandra, a 39-year-old Italian literature teacher, was a figure of great esteem and respect. Her teaching career had been marked by years of dedication and passion for literature, and her students regarded her as an inspiring and loving guide. Alessandra had devoted her life to teaching and culture, but beneath that surface of professionalism and dedication lay a desire and vulnerability she had never shared with anyone. Among her students was Luca, a 17-year-old boy who stood out for his brilliance and passion for literature. Luca was a sensitive young man with a lively mind and an open heart. His rich introspection and feeling immediately captured Alessandra's attention. She began to spend more time with him, offering support and encouragement, and their initially professional relationship started to transform into something more intimate and personal. As weeks passed, Alessandra and Luca found more and more reasons to spend time together. Alessandra, drawn by Luca's freshness and innocence, found in him a kind of refuge and a connection she had never before experienced. Luca, in turn, was fascinated by Alessandra's wisdom and maturity. This special bond, however, became increasingly complex and confusing. What initially seemed like an academic friendship turned into an intense, clandestine, and dangerous love affair. The discovery of Alessandra's pregnancy was a devastating blow. She realized that their secret was now unbearable, and the fear of consequences overwhelmed her. The awareness of having a life growing inside her brought her deep joy but also a feeling of anguish and despair. Despite their efforts to keep the secret, Alessandra and Luca began to make mistakes. The changes in behavior and lifestyle did not go unnoticed by colleagues and family members. The situation deteriorated when the suspicions of Luca's parents and Alessandra's colleagues became evident. Social workers got involved and started investigating. The news of Alessandra's pregnancy and relationship with Luca quickly became public, causing a scandal that shocked the small town. The community, used to slow and orderly rhythms, was shaken by the revelations. Alessandra was immediately suspended and then dismissed, accused of child abuse. Luca was separated from his family and placed in a protected center, a painful situation that tore him from his loved ones and his previous life. Alessandra, awaiting trial, found herself trapped in a spiral of despair and anguish. Despite attempts to defend herself, a sentence of several years in prison seemed inevitable. Her once brilliant and respected career was destroyed, and her love for Luca had become a symbol of tragic failure. On the day of the sentence, Alessandra received a letter from Luca. In the letter, Luca expressed his pain and confusion but also his eternal love for Alessandra. He promised to take care of their daughter and wait, hoping for a possible reconstruction of their life together. The letter was a testament to their love, an attempt to keep alive the bond that united them despite everything. But fate had one final cruel blow in store. The night before being transferred to prison, Alessandra went into premature labor. Her complicated pregnancy and medical emergency required urgent hospital intervention. The complications during childbirth were severe, and despite the doctor's efforts, Alessandra died while giving birth to her son. Her death left Luca devastated and the newborn without a mother. Luca's life underwent a radical transformation. Now of legal age, he faced the immense task of raising his child alone, burdened by the memory of Alessandra. The town did not easily forget the scandal, and Luca had to deal with constant judgment. However, the discovery of Alessandra's poetry notebook by chance gave him the strength to move forward. Those pages were a tangible link to their love and a way to keep Alessandra's memory alive. Luca decided to dedicate his life to raising his son with love and transmitting the passion for literature as Alessandra would have wanted. The scars of the past remained, but Luca managed to transform the pain into a positive force. The memory of Alessandra lived on through the words and teachings Luca passed on to his child. Although the tragedy had deeply affected their lives, Luca found a way to honor Alessandra's legacy by dedicating himself to raising their child and teaching the value of literature. Despite the weight of the past and indelible scars, Luca gave his existence a positive meaning, creating a new generation that continued Alessandra's memory and love. Their story, marked by passion and tragedy, remained a warning to all who tried to defy conventions and fate.